Hello and welcome to My Consultant. We're starting off this week's episode with the new ExpressEntry score drop. Next, the CBSA's agreement with the European Union, followed by Canadians' response to immigration. Stay tuned as I bring you the new measures in support of the Ukraine from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And Tina will showcase the 5 newly announced benefits for international students.
Getting Canadian visa will now be a lot easier. Minimum CRS score has dropped below 500 for the first time in last 2 years. On October 26th, Canada held its latest all-program ExpressEntry draw. This time, invitations were sent to 4,750 candidates with minimum comprehensive ranking system score of 496. This is the first time when the score has dipped below 500 since the draw on December 23, 2020, when the CRS score was 468. The initial draw on July 6th invited 1,500 candidates to apply for permanent residence with a minimum score of 557. Since then, the minimum CRS score has been decreasing with each draw. The most recent score on September 28 was 504. Canada has so far issued over 35,000 invitations in 2022. This has come as a huge sign of relief for applicants, as Canada's ExpressEntry draw has not seen CRS score drop below 500 since the post-pandemic resumption. With the lowered score, IRCC will be able to increase the number of invitations to apply for permanent residence in Canada.
Having a strong partnership between customs organizations and businesses only strengthens the security and integrity of our global supply chain. The Canada Border Services Agency, the CBSA, recently announced the signing of a mutual recognition agreement with the European Union's Taxation and Customs Union to honor each other's trusted trader programs. The signing took place in Brussels, Belgium, during a Canada-EU Joint Customs Cooperation Committee meeting. The agreement will contribute to 1. Increasing the security of the international supply chain, 2. Facilitating trade at the border, and 3. Strengthening the economic competitiveness of Canadians doing business with the EU. Members of Canada's Trusted Trader Program, called the Partners in Protection, or the PIP, will have their goods treated as low risk and cleared by the EU customs faster, which will save time and money at the border. The CBSA plans to do the same for members of the EU's Trusted Trader Program, which is referred to as their Authorized Economic Operator Program. This will also allow the CBSA to focus its resources on areas of higher or unknown risk and protect Canadians by preventing contraband from entering the country. The CBSA establishes mutual recognition with custom organizations from all over the world, so countries can recognize each other's program members as low risk and respect similar benefits. The key goal of mutual recognition is to strengthen the trust and security in the supply chain to prevent criminal activity such as cargo theft and pilferage, and smuggling and contraband. Mutual recognition also contributes to trade by streamlining processing at the border for certified trusted traders. Expand the international network of accredited low-risk companies allows custom administrators to focus on targeting shipments of higher or unknown risk. Border management is a shared international responsibility. Threats and opportunities arising from global migration and trade are dealt with better when working together.
Canada is a country known for welcoming immigrants and valuing multiculturalism. In the recent years, Canada has become one of the top destinations for people across the globe to start a new and promising life. And now, more Canadians want to welcome immigrants with open arms. The Fall 2022 Focus Canadian Survey says that Canadians have never been more supportive of immigration. More Canadians believe that immigration is good for the economy, and they support the country's targets that allow more immigrants to move to Canada. According to the survey, 7 out of 10 Canadians say that they approve of the immigration levels that allow more than 400,000 immigrants to the country every year. That large show of support amounts to be the highest show of support for immigration in the last 45 years of research. The strength of Canada's economy is measured in part by the number of people working and paying taxes to fund public services. Thanks to immigration, Canada's labor force continues to grow every year and helps in boosting Canada's economy.
New measures in support of the people of Ukraine were announced recently by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the 27th Triennial Congress of Ukrainian Canadians in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The announcement declares that the Government of Canada will issue Ukraine sovereignty bonds, which will help the government continue their operations. That includes providing essential services to Ukrainians, like pensions and purchasing oil before the winter. The new Ukraine sovereignty bonds will be offered by participating financial institutions and denominations, and rate of returns, which will be announced soon. The equivalent proceeds from this 5-year bond will be sent directly to the Ukraine through the IMF, International Monetary Fund's administered account. This builds on the Government of Canada's $2 billion in financial assistance to the Ukraine this year. Those who choose to invest in this bond will in fact be purchasing a regular Government of Canada 5-year bond backed by Canada's AAA credit rating. Canada is the first country in the world outside of the Ukraine to offer a bond for purchase in support of the Ukraine. To address the devastating impacts the Russian invasion has had on Ukrainian scientific innovation and expertise, the Prime Minister also announced the launch of the Canada-Ukraine Science Partnership. Through this partnership, Canada will invite up to 20 Ukrainian-based scientists and postgrad students to come, work, and live in Canada. This initiative will help the Ukraine preserve and rebuild its science and research capacity. Those who are seeking placements at Canadian academic institutions to continue their research are encouraged to apply through the newly created Canada-Ukraine Science Partnership website. The Prime Minister added to his announcement that Canada is imposing new sanctions on individuals and entities involved in Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. These new measures will target 35 senior officials of energy entities, including those of Gazprom and its subsidiaries, as well as 6 energy sector entities involved in Russia's ongoing violations of the Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The Prime Minister also announced that Canada intends to pose sanctions on members of the Russian justice and security sectors, including police officers, investigators, judges, and prison officials involved in gross and systematic human rights violations against Russian opposition leaders. These new measures build on the sanctions Canada has already implemented against over 1,400 individuals and entities. As mentioned in last week's episode, 'tis the season to give back, and the Government of Canada agrees. As winter approaches, it's important to understand that over 17 million Ukrainians are currently in need of humanitarian assistance, and many are not properly prepared for the upcoming cold Canadian months. That is why Canada is allocating $55 million in previously announced funding to the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, the International Organization for Migration, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and other humanitarian partners to support winterization initiatives. This includes providing shelter and distributing essential items such as blankets, clothing, heating appliances, and fuel. Canada proudly stands with the Ukraine as it defends its sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence.
Canada is among world's top choices for international students, owing to multiple factors such as affordability, work, and permanent residence opportunities. In 2022, Canada welcomed over 650,000 new international students and issued over 450,000 new study permits. International students contribute to Canada's economic success in so many ways. And to acknowledge that, the country has recently announced several benefits for foreign students who are visiting the country to study. Today, we will be sharing 5 crucial benefits that international students could avail in Canada. The country has recognized that from 2022 to 2023, the number of study permit holders will increase approximately to 753,000 international students, which means that there will be more opportunities available for students seeking to study in the country. Canada is planning to explore the expansion of Student Direct Stream, that is SDS, which allows them to fast-track study permits for candidates from many countries such as Asian, African, and French-speaking countries. The SDS is a fast-track stream for obtaining a study permit for candidates from foreign countries. Canada is also planning to promote the transition to permanent residence for international students to manage the labor shortage in the country. Students with the skills, experience, and language levels necessary to succeed in Canada can benefit from this transition. To help international students track their online applications, Canada's Immigration Authority has promised to publish monthly data on backlogs. The IRCC has recently hired over 1,200 new employees to tackle the backlog. This move by IRCC is to ensure that they establish a better system to process applications. Starting November 15th, Canada will allow its students to work for more than 20 hours per week during their full-time studies. This temporary measure that will remain in place until the end of 2023 can also be availed by foreign nationals who have already submitted their study application. Up till now, students are restricted to work up to 20 hours per week unless they are on a break. This new move of removing this restriction will help them to work for more hours without jeopardizing their study permit. All these new benefits announced by Canada is to retain and attract more international students as they enhance the communities and play a crucial role in growing the economy. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining us this week. If you really like this video, then please support us by subscribing to our My Consultant YouTube channel. For more information about the topics covered today, you can visit our website myconsultant.ca, where you can also find an authorized immigration and citizenship consultant. I am Tina Batra.
And I'm Tashina Thompson, and we'll see you next week.